Welcome to Dynamos Dozen, the podcast that I bring you each and every single week, where I talk about whatever may be on my mind, from pro wrestling, sports, entertainment, music, movies, muesli, fresh socks and jocks, and everything in between, never forgetting the talk. How was that intro for you, Jeff?
Damn, dude. Are we going to be talking about football, which is my soccer, but we can talk about American football, but probably not. But
I'm a Saints fan.
My condolences. I apologize.
I know.
What about the Titans, baby? The Titans.
You're looking good. Yeah. You're looking good, my brother. You're looking good. I think you're going to be a very happy man this year, if you weren't already happy.
We'll see. I'm excited. 2022.
Yeah, Drew Brees unfortunately left a little bit of a gap there that's going to be very, very hard to replace for us. So,
he's a generational talent, once in a lifetime. Hats off to the guy. And look, he got you guys a lot of wins. You need to be on the bottom dwellers for a while. But anyway, Ian, let's get back to it's your show, man. Looking forward to chatting with you. It's been 2 years, right?
2 years, my friend. I was very, very lucky enough to have you on the first time, which was just shortly. In fact, you done me a solid. You had actually told me, listen, my brother, delay the show by a couple of days. It's going to be worth it. I can't tell you why, but it's going to be worth it.
Oh, wow.
And I remember saying, oh, I wonder what's up here. And then I got word that you were going to be in the Hall of Fame. It was like, okay.
I don't recall that, but see, I did you a solid. But even back then,
you did 100%, brother, and I've never ever forgotten it. So I'm happy to talk to you again. Now, a lot's happened in those 2 years. You being the consummate businessman that you are, you now have your very own podcast, which I'm not just blowing smoke up the proverbial backside. I'm a huge fan of this show. Of course, Conrad is somebody who's a friend of mine too. He's been on my show in the past, and he's always given me good advice as well. So I'm a huge fan of his work. So to have that dynamic with one of my favorite workers of all time and one of my favorite guys who's a podcaster and just a genuine cool dude, it's a really, really, really cool show. So congratulations on the success of it, first and foremost.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's wow. I love the story about that right before the Hall of Fame. But no, who would have thunk? But Conrad, Conrad, so no need to go into his skill set, which is to me, he is my partner. But he's amazing. He really has a knack for the guiding of the stories and the business model and everything that goes with the team and the researchers and the social media and all the different components. It's been really a cool journey. And I've told this on multiple interviews that I've done. If somebody's going to sit down and listen to an episode of My World that may go 90 minutes, it may go 2.5 hours, it may go 3 hours.
Sure.
I want to come prepared and really do my part and jog the old brain and come up with the memories to make sure that I can weave everything together that from a timeline perspective, it's been a fascinating journey. I love it, but man, it is so much more than just sitting down with a microphone. Me and Bischoff are going to be doing a show, Royal Rumble weekend up in St. Louis. JeffandEricLive.com, probably not your neck of the woods, but maybe I'll get over on your side of the pond. You guys got a lot of things going on as you guys come out of COVID pandemic. But yeah, the podcast, it's such a cool platform to create. And candidly, we're just getting started. We're only on like episode 37, 38. And I mean, early in our career, we got lucky enough to get nominated for Best New Podcast.
Yeah.
Got runner up. We weren't even really supposed to be nominated because we got nominated right at the 3-month mark. So I feel lucky to get nominated. So all good.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, what really kind of stands out with My World is the journey and how you guys put together the first, say, 3 episodes in particular really set the narrative, and it brings us on the journey. Like I love how you get hot sometimes on it as well, especially with the whole Steve Austin stuff. I was like, go on, Jeff, give it to them, my brother. And then talking about the Owen stuff, then I mean that was really emotional for me. I'm good friends with the Billingtons over in Calgary as well, so that kind
Okay.
of hit home to me, because we all remember where we were on that
Yeah.
day. You know, it's like wrestling's 9/11. I don't mean to be rude by saying that, but that's kind of
I know
essentially.
it is a day that we would rather forget, but we
Yes.
always remember where we
Yes.
were at. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a beautiful, it's a very, very intimate diary, I suppose, would be the best way of describing it,
Okay.
isn't it? Very intimate
Fair
diary
enough. Yeah,
of your life.
it is. And, I get asked now that we've got a few under our belts, and doing media today, we're talking about FITE, and we're talking about the podcast and Game Changer Wrestling and Royal Rumble weekend and all that kind of stuff. But they always sort of land back on, hey man, what's your favorite episode? And it's like, it's hard to name one because for all the obvious reasons you just touched on it. The Owen, look, it was emotional. That was difficult, much more difficult to do. Coming out of it, I was exhausted, but it was, it was very emotional. But then when you talk about the China match and that day, and people think I held Vince up, that's fun to retell, but really sort of set the record straight and say, hey, guys.
I like how Conrad teases you on that one. It's like, yeah,
he loves it.
I thought we established last week that I didn't hold him up. Let's actually talk a bit of business as well, because you are a businessman, and of course FITE, the app, we actually talked about it 2 years ago, which is crazy with the growth within 2 years of FITE. Talk to me a little bit about that, and talk to the people about what they can, for anyone that doesn't know about it.
So it's FITE, and you can go download the app anywhere. They are a technology company first, and that is something that obviously I'm a little bit older than you, or a lot older than you, but the technology first. Look, we live in a different generation. So when we click on YouTube, we don't really have much buffering. It works, all that. Well, when you go to buy events, and I'm not going to name any other, sometimes it buffers, sometimes it doesn't work right, sometimes a credit card doesn't work. I mean, just all that. FITE is a technology first, and they've got it down, but they have laser focused in on combat sports, boxing, wrestling, and MMA. And your neck of the woods, even AEW's on there, but it is, you name it, all kind of NWA. I could go on and on. Impact, but professional wrestling is across the board. Not only that, great boxing, MMA, bare knuckle, but it is a combat sports app that there is free content. There is obviously pay-per-view transactionals. There's streaming services. There's all kinds of things. But I've been a part of them literally since day one with those guys, and we've just launched. And you can go to my socials at Real Jeff Jarrett or at My World Pod, and it's a hashtag promotion, we call it. Pick a fight. And I sort of give the highlight of the week on what you should go on the app and watch. And it's we kicked it off last weekend. We're going into Game Changer this weekend. So lots of moving parts, but we're really excited about that partnership.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredible. I subscribe myself. Obviously, I'll be a big boxing fan too. So I love the fact that I have the option of choosing what I want as well. And I'm not just saying it. It is a fantastic app, and it is available here in Ireland and all across Europe, worldwide, basically. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. It's been able to give us kind of New Japan stuff back in the day as well. It's been able to give us kind of a lot of, So it's fantastic. You're watching the future superstars of tomorrow, basically.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's something that's literally at our fingertips, and you can watch it live. And Wrestle Kingdom 9. I mean, there's too much content on there to sort of itemize it. I'm just saying, if you don't have that app, download it. If you're listening to this podcast of Ian's, I assure you would be a fan of this app. Costs nothing to download it. And then you scroll on there for yourself, what you like and don't like.
So I know you're stuck for time, so I'm going to give you a couple of questions before we go, and you can choose how long you want to answer them. The first question I'm going to ask is, that's a beautiful little office that you have there. I mean, I'm personally a music guy, so I love that guitar. I wouldn't like to be in the room with you just in case it happened to like me too. But those three beautiful title belts behind you, only because I'm looking at them right now, and I'm a wrestling historian, if you will. You got to give me, which one is your favorite?
That's they represent, when we were trying to figure out the ad-free team, just sort of, because this is my desk that I work out every day.
Sure.
I got another sort of smaller desk over there that has some different things, and a whiteboard there and a whiteboard there, all this, but I'm like, hey, I've got to have, so I wasn't into creating too many backdrops and like,
Sure.
but I've been in the TV business. So I'm like, look, the three belts that sort of,
define you,
define my in-ring, truly my in-ring, my world. So the Intercontinental title was the first major title that I won, the big gold right behind. It's such a long lineage. And then the NWA belt is really the belt I not only grew up on, but also it signifies TNA, and that's a huge component of my career. So
sure,
those three, obviously, I'd love to put up there the AAA belt, because that was some of my most successful work. And maybe one day I will, but it's really hard to name. Those three are tied for first place. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but
dude,
gotta give it to you.
I love it. It's a political answer, and I fucking love it.
Isn't it though? The world we live in. You gotta be.
I knew going into that question the answer I was gonna get.
Sure you did. Okay, we gotta wrap this up. I'm out of time.
Right. So first and foremost, I don't have another question for you. The only thing I have to say is a closing statement. You're looking great. I gotta say, you're looking in shape. I seen a picture of you in the ring there the other week as well. Looking good. Hopefully 2022 might give us another Jeff Jarrett match. I'm just saying, I hope. That's my own personal opinion. And you never know, right? You never know.
It may be in your backyard, Val. It may be not literally in your backyard, but your side of the pond, shall we say.
Well, you give me a holler and we'll make sure that we're there and we can meet up in person finally and have an old coffee together and
there you go.
Definitely do it. But listen, Jeff, I know you're an extremely busy man. I really do appreciate you taking out the time. You're always a great guy and make time for people within media. I don't consider myself a media guy. I consider myself a wrestler first and media second. But
likewise, yes.
Always a pleasure, sir. And I wish you nothing but the best. Please. Do you want to just give a closing statement and let my listeners know where they can find you, what you got going on?
To me, I appreciate your time, Ian. I won't be a stranger. We don't need 2 years to go by. But all my socials at My World Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Same Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Real Jeff Jarrett. So I'll let you spell it when we go off the air here. But no, at Real Jeff Jarrett, at My World Pod. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, sir. You stay safe and wish you nothing but success.